Hello everyone, my name is Satyanarayan and today let's take a look at a very interesting point in mathematics called compound interest. Now when it comes to interest, there are two types. One is the simple interest, which you solve using the formula PNR upon 100 or PRT upon 100, and the second is compound interest. Now once you understand exactly what is compound interest all about, solving problems becomes extremely easy. In fact, many times you don't even require to know the exact formula. If you understand how compound interest is, you can work out the answer without even remembering what the formula is supposed to be. So before we start understanding the various what exactly compound interest is all about, there are certain terms which we need to know. So the topic that we are going to take a look at is compound interest. The question of interest always comes when you have lent money to somebody, right? So let us assume that I lend rupees 100 to someone. So the initial amount which you lend to someone is known as your principal. R is nothing but the rate of interest at which you have lent the money to the borrower. N is equal to the number of time periods for which you have lent the money. I means the interest which you are actually going to earn on the principal amount that you have lent. And A is the total amount which is to be returned by the borrower at the end of the lending period. So we have the principal, rate of interest, the number of time periods, the interest and the amount. Now, we know that when the money is lent at simple interest, then it is only the first principal on which the interest is being charged. But that is not how compound interest works. To make things simple, let me assume that the amount of rupees 100 has been given by me to a friend of mine. I will charge him a rate of 10% as interest to be compounded annually. And let us say that the time period for which I will be lending the money to him will be 3 years. So, first let us take a look at what happens when I give out the money at simple interest. At the end of the first year, the second year and the third year, the principal amount being 100, I earn 10 rupees as interest for the first year. Again, because the original principal was just 100, I earn 10 in the second, and the original principal being 100, I earn rupees 10. So cumulatively I earn 30 rupees on my original amount of 100, which means I will be returned the amount of rupees 130 if I am charging 10% only at simple interest. However, supposing I am going to give the same 100 rupees at 10% but compounded annually for 3 years, then what do I do? Well, for the first year, my principal amount is rupees 100, and because I am charging at 10%, I get the interest as rupees 10. Now, the first year is the same for the simple as well as compounded rate of interest. Things start getting interesting from the second year onwards. In simple interest, we again calculate the interest amount by taking the basic principal. But in compound interest, we do not take just the basic principal, we add the interest earned the previous year to the principal, which means 100 plus 10. My principal amount is now to be taken as rupees 110, and for the second year, I earn 10% over this 110. So 10% of 110 is 11 rupees. So as you can see, in simple interest, I would just have earned rupees 10 over the basic 100. But because it is compounded, I am earning rupees 11 because it is 10% of 110. For the third year, I again add the principal, use the previous year and the interest earned the previous year. So 110 plus 11 adds up to 121. I earn 10% of 121, which is 12.1 rupees. So instead of 10, the second year I earned 11, and in the third year I earned 12.1, which means now I earn a total of 33.1 rupees, which means when I returned the money, I get 100 plus 33.1, which makes it 133.1, as opposed to the 130 rupees which I would have got under simple interest. So what are we basically doing here? Well, for the first year, whatever was my principal, I was adding R percentage of the principal to it. So for the first year I was getting P into 1 plus R upon 100. Now for the second year I actually get this entire amount as the basic principal, which means for the second year 1 plus R upon P into 1 plus R upon 100 is my basic principal, and over this I get R by 100% of P into 1 plus R upon 100. Taking this entire thing, P into 1 plus R upon 100 is common. I get P into 1 plus R upon 100 is common. From here I get 1, from here I get R upon 100. So this is equal to P into 1 plus R upon 100 the whole square. So as you can see, for the first year I get the entire amount to be returned as P into 1 plus R upon 100. For 2 years, the entire amount to be returned is P into 1 plus R upon 100 the whole square. If we further this example, for the third year, the entire amount to be returned would amount to P into 1 plus R upon 100 the whole cube. So you can see that that particular formula is following a certain trend. So we can understand this formula as, if P is my principal, R is the rate of interest, and N is the number of time periods, then the amount earned at compound interest is given by the formula P into 1 plus R upon 100 the whole raised to N, where P is nothing but the principal, R is the rate of interest, N is the number of time periods. So what you need to understand is, this formula actually gives you the entire amount. So if you want to find out the compound interest earned, the compound interest earned is the final amount minus the principal. So this is equal to P into 1 plus R upon 100 the whole raised to N minus P. So compound interest earned is given by the formula where you calculate the amount and deduct the original principal from it. I hope you can remember this one basic formula, and that is pretty much what compound interest is all about.